In this chapter, the physical features of India, we saw the broad division, broad physiographic division of India, in which we discuss about the Himalayas, the northern plain. Today, we will cover the topic of the peninsular plateau, the coastal plain, and the island group. So let's start with the topic, the peninsular plateau. What is a peninsula? Peninsula is any landmass which is surrounded by water on three sides and land on one side. It is surrounded by Indian Oceans on the south, the Arabian Sea on the west, and the Bay of Bengal in the east. So when we talk about the Indian peninsula, here you can see that it is surrounded by water bodies on three sided. In the west is the Arabian Sea, in the south is the Indian Ocean, and in the east is the Bay of Bengal. Look at this portion, it is connected to the mainland. And when we talk about plateau, you can see a very large area of flat land that is higher than the land around it. It is known as tableland, as you can see in the pictures also in the diagram in geological term, as it resembles a table, as having an elevation here, and it's a flat plain land. So a plateau doesn't have peak and valleys like a mountain ranges, and it's flat in surface. As well as when we talk about the plateau, has a broad and shallow valley and rounded hill. So when we talk about the formation of plateau, during the movements of the Indian plates toward the Asiatic plates, a major event that occurred was the outpouring of lava and formation of the Deccan Trap. So the sealed volcanism started somewhere around 60 million years ago and continued for a long period. And when we talk about, they are predominantly gneiss and schist. Gneiss here is the granite, which are metamorphic rocks. So here you can see that they are composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rock. So what are the metamorphic rocks here? You can see are one that have been heated under tremendous pressures. This generally occurs when rocks are pushed into the earth crust. When tectonic plates collides and the mountain form, the peninsular region also contain a large igneous rock formation called the Deccan Trap basalts. So here you see the plateau has two broad divisions, namely the Central Highland and the Deccan Plateau. So what we come to know that the Narmada and the Tapi river divided the plateau into two parts. Here you can see above Narmada is the Central Highland and below Narmada is the Deccan Plateau. So you can see the part of the peninsular plateau lying to the north, of the Narmada river. Here is the Narmada river. This is the Narmada river. It is lying to the north of the Narmada river, covering a major area of Malwa, Bagelkhand and Bundelkhand. They are this Chota Nagpur plateaus. These are known as Central Highland. If we talk about the Vindhya range, here you can see the Vindhya range. It is on the south, and the Aravalli in the north and the northwest. So the westward extension here, gradually merged with sandy and rocky desert of Rajasthan. And if we talk about the flow of the river draining these regions, are the Chambal, the Betwa, the Sindh, the Kane is the southwest to northeast. This indicating the slope. So here you can see the rivers which are flowing or draining in these regions are the Chambal, Sindh, Betwa and Kane, and the direction here you can see is from the southwest to northeast. It means the slope is here. From the direction of the slope is from southwest to northeast. The Central Highlands are wider in the west but narrow in the east. The eastward extension of these plateaus are locally known as the Bundelkhand, Bagelkhand, Chota Nagpur plateau. That further extension drained into Damodar Valley. Come to the Deccan Plateau. You can see it is a triangular landmass that lie to the south of the river Narmada. The Satpura range. Here you can see Satpura range flank its broad base in the north. So here you can see the Satpura range. Here you can see the Satpura, the Mahadev and the Mekal hill. Okay, it lie north to the Deccan plateau. Okay, if we talk about the Mekal range, it is the eastern extension. Okay, the Deccan plateau is higher in the west and the slope gently eastward. So if you see the rivers, okay, they are draining and flowing from west to east, which indicate the slope. Okay, slope is gently toward the east. Then we talk about, here you can see an extension of the plateau is also visible in the northeast, locally known as Meghalaya, Karbi Anglong Plateau and North Kachar Hills. Okay, if we talk about three prominent hills from west to east are the Garo, Khasi and Jaintia Hill, which are located situated in Meghalaya. The Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat. Okay, the Western Ghat mark the edge of the western and the Eastern Ghat mark the edge of the eastern part of this plateau. Okay, so if we talk about the Western Ghat are higher than the Eastern Ghat. Their average elevation here is 900 meter to 1600 meter as against 600 meter in the Eastern Ghat. When we talk of the Eastern Ghat, is stretched from Mahanadi valley to the Nilgiri. Okay, here you can see in the south the Eastern Ghats are disconnected. They are disconnected and they are dissected by rivers draining into the Bay of Bengal. Then come the Western Ghat, causes orographic rainfall by facing the rain bearing moist windward. Okay, to rise along the western slopes of the Ghat. The lift of the air up the sides of the mountain result in adiabatic coolings and ultimately condensations and precipitation. Then come the Western Ghats are known by different local names: Sayadri mountain in Maharashtra and Karnataka, Nilgiri, Malai in Tamil Nadu and Saya Parvatam in Kerala. So the height of the Western Ghat professionally it's increased, okay, from north to south. And when we talk about the highest peak, okay, included Anaimudi, you can see here, and then Doda Beta also, okay, and Mahendragiri in the here Mahendragiri on in this is the highest peak in the Eastern Ghats. Then you see the Shevra Hills and the Javati Hills located in the southeast of the Eastern Ghat. And when we talk about the famous hill station here is this Ooty, which is located here, and then this Kodai Canal in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so these are the famous hill stations of this region. So we saw about this plateau in which we talk about the Central Highland and the Deccan Plateau. So one of the distinctive feature of this peninsula is the black soil area known as the Deccan Trap. This is a volcanic origin, hence the rocks are igneous. So these rocks have been denuded over times. Okay, denuded means weathering, erosion and deposition of sediments and responsible for the formation of black soil. And here when we talk about this, Aravalli Hills lie on the western margin of the peninsular plateau. These are highly broaded hills and found in the Broken Hills. They extended from Gujarat to Delhi in southwest to northeast direction. So here you can see the direction southwest to northeast direction. So now we come to the Indian desert. So what is a desert? You know, a large area of land usually covered with sand that is hot and has very little water and very few plants, that we call deserts. So deserts are formed by weathering processes as large variation in temperature between day and night, and that puts strains on the rock, which consequently break into pieces. Rocks are smoothed down and the wind it shot the sand into an uniform deposit, or the wind it eroded the sand, okay, and deposit in some other places. Okay, So here you see the Thar Desert lies in the leeward sides of the Aravalli mountain and thus gets scanty rainfall. Secondly, the desert lies in the belt of trade wind which blow from northeast in the northern hemisphere and southeast in the southern hemisphere. Thus the wind blow from east to west. This wind sheds their moisture in the northeastern part of the country as it is what? Hilly region. By the time they came to the Thar desert, they had lost all the moisture causing little or no rainfall in the region. That's why the Thar is a desert region, especially with scanty of rainfall. The Indian deserts is lie towards the western margin of the Aravalli hills. Okay, it is an undulating surface covered with sand dunes. If we talk about the region, it receives low rainfalls, 150 millimeter a year. It has arid climate as dry climate with less rainfall, with low vegetation cover. If we talk about the stream, it appear during the rainy rainfall. Soon after they disappear into the sand as they do not have enough water to reach the sea, and the Luni is the only large river in this region. And when we talk about Barchan, okay, this is crescent shape as you can see here, sand cover large area but a longitudinal dunes, okay, become more prominent near the Indo-Pak boundary. Then comes to the coastal plain. Okay, the coastal plain, if you talk the coast, the area where the land meet the sea. Okay, this is the area where the land meet the sea. The peninsular plateau is flanked, okay, on you can see of narrow coastal strips here of land that you can see Arabian Sea on the west and Bay of Bengal in the east. If we talk the western coast is a narrow space between the Western Ghat and the Arabian Sea. If we talk this western coast, it's a narrow space between what? Between the Western Ghat and the Arabian Sea. Okay, it consists of three sections. One you can see Konkan, another the northern part of the coast is called the Konkan, Mumbai, Goa. The central stretch here is called the Kannada plain, while the southern stretch here is referred to Malabar coast. Okay, the coastal plain along the Bay of Bengal are wide and level. In the northern part, it is referred to Northern Sarkar here, and when we talk about the southern part, is known as Coromandel coast. Okay, large rivers such as Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri have formed extensive delta here. You can see delta on the coast. And now we talk about the island. So you have already seen India as a vast mainland. Beside this, the country has also two groups of islands. Lakshadweep Islands group lying close to the Malabar coast, okay, of Kerala. This group of island is composed of small coral island group. So what is a coral? Here you can see a coral reef is made up of thin layer of calcium carbonate. So coral polyps are short-lived microscopic organism which lives in colonies. So they secrete calcium carbonate, the coral secretions and their skeletons from coral deposit in the form of reef. Then you can see that earlier they were known as Lakshadweep, Minika and Amindeep. In 1973 they were named as Lakshadweep and it covered the small area of 32 square kilometer. So here you can see Karavati Islands is the administrative headquarters of Lakshadweep. So the island groups have great diversity of flora and fauna, and the Piti Islands, which is uninhabited, has a bird sanctuary. Then we come to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now you can see elongated, okay, chain of island located in the Bay of Bengal. These are Andaman and Nicobar Island. They are bigger in size and more numerous and scattered, as you can see here. Okay, the entire group of islands divided into two categories. One is the Andaman, another one is the Andaman in the north and Nicobar in the south. Okay, it is believed that these islands are an elevated portion of submarine mountains. So these island groups are of great diversities of flora and fauna in this group of island. Okay, so it is close. If you talk at this island is close to the equator. So it experiences equatorial climate, or we can see tropical climate, and has a thick forest cover. Even India has an active volcano which is found in Barren Island in the Andaman Nicobar group island. Okay, then we come here that you have heard a detailed accounts of the different physiographic unit, okay, that highlight the unique feature of particular region. So each region complement each other and make the country rich in natural resources. When we talk about the mountain, they are the major source of water and forest wealth. And when we talk about the northern plain, they are the granaries of the country. They provide the base for early civilization. And when we talk about the plateau, it is a storehouse of mineral which played a major role in the industrialization of the country. And then the coastal regions and the island groups provide site for fishing and ports activity. Thus, the diverse physical features have immense future possibilities of development. So here we finish the chapter.